people that have the deepest pockets and the most load heavy branding are the ones that are being paid attention to. So it's like anything, discretion, right?
Yeah.
Consumer
Yeah.
beware, consumer beware, discretion. And I think we need to decide what is our value. Like
Right.
what are you really looking for? Are you looking for the best deal or are you looking for the best place? And if you
Hmm.
put money over the best place, you're wrong right out the gate.
Right.
So if it looks like it's too good of a deal, it probably is.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
For the next month, we are going to be talking about who can you trust. And I am very delighted to have with us today Daphne Davis, the CEO of Pinnacle Senior Placements, and Ellie Brown, Vice President of Sales of Chateau Retirement both in Western Washington. And Ellie, I am fortunate the fact that my mom lived at Chateau Pacific. And I always say my boot camp of learning this industry was your staff, and you were amazing with me. But I realize now through the years how rare that is, how rare in a culture when I look at a lot of the organizations out there, there's a lot of so much confusion, even with, in senior living, if someone is already living there, they still don't know necessarily the resources that may be available to them. So first of all, Ellie, I want to say thank you to Chateau Retirement, because I don't think I would be in the place that I am today had I not had that experience. So you guys do something so powerful, I think, with your staff is, you have such an incredible amount of longevity, and you don't necessarily see that in senior living. There's obviously a secret sauce that Chateau Retirement does, but I think that's the difference between your organization and so many out there in the industry.
Well, I think we could put any industry in this conversation and
Mhm.
know that with the advent of social media and the different levels of social media and the instant information and the viral, and then if you add deep pockets to nationwide operators or
Mhm.
the people that are speaking the loudest on those platforms that are buying the most ads, then that becomes the narrative, right? That becomes
Mhm.
the place, right? Rather than maybe it used to be grandma, aunt, maybe your church, your network, or your coffee clutch, because a lot of people go inside in their homes at night and shut the garage door and it's online. So what we know in senior living is the journey used to be a little bit like this for a lead and then get to the community. Now
Mhm.
it's like a snake. And that's because there's so many point of contacts. There's so much research,
Yeah.
as Daphne said, by the families. It's a longer search pattern now. It's a longer sell, meaning it takes longer for them to get to the community. And it's
Mhm.
more stops along the way. And there's a lot of distraction. And the distraction mostly is coming from
Yep.
social media advertising, the platform. So whereas back in the old days, I'm sure there was a lot of
Yeah.
handshake and a lot of networking in person, whether it's at church or
Yeah.
events or what have you. Now it's really about that online presence and the people that have the deepest
Mhm.
pockets and the most load heavy branding are the ones that are being paid attention to. So it's like anything, discretion, right?
Yeah.
Consumer
Yeah.
beware, consumer beware, discretion. And I think we need to decide what is our value. Like
Right.
what are you really looking for? Are you looking for the best deal or are you looking for the best place? And if you
Hmm.
put money over the best place, you're wrong right out the gate.
Right.
So if it looks like it's too good of a deal, it probably is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. And
I want to jump in here.
yeah,
Yes.
You bring up really good points, Ellie, in terms of the influence of social media. At the same time, though, we are in a time where some people, some decades of life, have one foot in paper and one foot in digital, and so that is also adding to the confusion. When it's more digital, this group of people who have one foot still in paper or not in digital at all, which
Hmm.
those are the people we're still working with,
Yeah.
shut down.
mhm,
Yeah.
They
mhm.
just stop. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm doing nothing because it's beyond me. I don't even know how to navigate this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another advent that's happening very real. It happens every single week in my world. We just
Mm-hmm.
didn't know where to turn. And I'm
Right.
talking to 50, 60-year-old children.
No, I know.
It's not everybody is not entrenched completely in that digital. And I think that adds to the confusion.
Yeah.
We don't even know how to navigate this
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
one viral bad video of a horrible experience that gets millions of views clouds the perception that, okay, it's like anything, one bad seed can pollute the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's all bad. And
Yeah.
how do you find the good advocates, the good person to walk alongside, and the good community,
That's
Yeah.
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing that's really the irony of all this. Okay. The fear of making a change, even though the home situation may be more dangerous because there's stairs, there's things that are fall risks in someone's home. Maybe they're not really tracking 100% mentally. There's a lot of things, but that fear of the change, because there's so much confusion, can actually create so much more tension within the family because, again, there's this dynamic of I don't want to interfere with mom and dad, right? The adult child, right? I want to make sure that I quote unquote honor their wishes. And yet, when you're looking at this story and this picture with families, they don't necessarily know how to have these conversations. They don't necessarily know how to be that bridge to a better lifestyle because, again, there's no education out there in the industry to help families help their loved ones.
Well, I think honestly, I think there is a lot of education being done by Chateau or Daphne
Hmm.
or yourself, Answer for Elders. But the problem is our voice is not as loud or as present because of
Correct.
that deep pocket. So it's for me, it's this is the two-prong approach. We're experts at helping the families with those conversations,
Right.
but it's all that timeline, that snake before then. So how
Correct.
can we, is there a way, and I don't know, I'm asking you, is there a way to have an almost like a code of ethics or an oversight or an
Hmm.
agreement? I don't know. Should we be
Hmm.
discussing what is our agreement on this? Or how do you sniff out the bad ones and move on? How do we,
Hmm.
maybe we should be educating on what to run from.
Yeah.
Run. So maybe that's the answer because I think once we have families in our pocket, we're very expert at having those conversations once we're with them, but there's a whole journey happening or
Correct.
not happening, happening
And
or not
mixed
happening.
messages, constant.
Yeah.
And I would say it's not happening more
Yeah.
than happening. It's just
Mhm.
plain not happening
I
right
agree.
now. And some of that I think is just our times. We can talk about that sandwich generation. I think they're more exhausted. I don't think they have the bandwidth to embrace mom and
Yeah.
dad's issues. I
Yeah.
don't think they have the time or that's a part of their perception that they have as just a time in the day in the life of an
Hmm.
American right now.
Hmm.
And I think that's interrupting a lot. And so what happens from my point of view, the stories that I hear are, mom says she's fine, so she's fine.
Yeah.
And then I start, well, talking about the clues. So there's a shutdown before they even get anywhere. And
Hmm.
so part of this education, I think, is reach out, find just an element of energy to reach out to help support your parents
Hmm.
having the highest quality of life they can have, no
Hmm.
matter
Hmm.
what their journey is right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I'm a business strategist, so that's above and and I like looking long-term planning. So we have this group of millions of boomers coming in, right? So there's that level of digital print perception family. And then we have Generation Jones, which I know I'm in, Suzanne's in, meaning there's this new generation that are probably from 1956 to 64-ish, 65, where it's we're more tech savvy, we're more independent. We're going to be savvier. That's the next group that's coming in. But we first have to address this while we plan for that next group. So I
Mhm.
think it's a messaging issue. I think it's a branding and messaging issue. And who usually there's some body of, RA or there's somebody that's helping formulate the message, right?
Right.
And or the standards to look for, or an agreed, this is as an industry, we agree these are the standards that we all are hoping to attain,
Right.
right? And I,
And
I
I
don't know that, I think that people would probably really like to see what we as an industry, what the goals would be. What
Hmm.
does good look like? What does that mean
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
every level?
Yeah.
Practices, operations, care, pricing, food. I mean, all the things, all the wish
Hmm.
lists. What
Hmm.
would that perfect scenario
Yeah.
look like? And the cottage industry that surrounds it, because,
Hmm.
from your maintenance to your construction to your social media environment, whatever.
Yeah.
I think those kinds of conversations of what is this industry hold up as its value?
Right. And for both of you, thank you so much for this conversation. I am looking forward to really pulling back the curtain. And for each and every one of you, thank you for listening. Thank you for caring about your loved ones, because when it comes to caring for older adults, trust is not optional, it's essential. For listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.